Sandy Parker, and welcome to Crafting for Almost Everyone. I've been looking through my journal of old videos that I kept notes on, and I'll link my journal tutorial at the end so you get an idea of what I did. But basically, it was how I kept track of videos that I was interested in maybe creating in the future. So that one was by a YouTuber called Little Hot Tamale, and I've revamped it, but what it is these little Matchbook notepads, and I really like the idea of them, and I'm doing some things for my friend for her for a fundraiser that she's working on, and I thought I would make some. This one's about herbs, and so I thought I'd make some on camera, so if you wanted to make some, that you could do it too. So what I start out doing is I make basically the guts of it first. So what you want to do, and I hope the bottom of my paper trimmer is in the viewer. This is just typing paper, and we're going to cut it on the 8.5 inch side. We're going to cut it at 7.5 inches. And I have probably 3 or 4 pieces of paper in here, so I can cut a few sheets at once. If you have a big guillotine cutter, you could probably cut a lot more than that, but I'm just going with my regular one. Then you're going to turn it on the long side, and you're going to go to 3.25 inches. Make sure you're lined up, and cut. Then you're just going to slide it to 3.25 again. Cut it. I'm just going to do one sheet of these so you get the gist. And then one more 3.25. Cut those. And we're done with our paper for right now. There is this little strip of typing paper left that I was punching using this punch and making her little price tags, because I didn't know if she, what she was doing. So I thought it was a good use of my extra paper and thought she could use it for her event. So that's all the paper trimming we're going to do. Well, I already did other paper trimming, and I'll just go over that with you. Then you're going to need, for your outside, you're going to take paper and you're going to cut it at 8.75. So on the 11 inch, I'm going to show you on this. On the 11 inch length, you're going to cut it at 8.75. Then you're going to turn it, and you're going to cut it at 3.5, and it'll end up looking like this. It's 8.75 inches high and 3.5 inches across. Then you're going to take your scoring tool, and this is where I changed it a little bit. Hers had a different measurement. My scoring is, I'll do a score on this just so you can see what you're doing. You're going to score it at 3/4 inch, and then you're going to score it at 5 inches. Now don't press too hard on your paper, because you can crack cardstock, and you don't want to do that. You don't want a really lightweight cardstock, but you can use probably a 65-pound or greater, and that's kind of normal. Then you're going to fold your top fold down, and you'll fold your bottom fold up. You see how it already looks like a matchbook? I don't know if you can see that or not, but that's the process. Then you're going to take 10 sheets of the white paper that you made. The reason I'm being so finicky about this is because I have electric stapler. It doesn't like to go through a lot. Okay. And before, I was kind of going through the process and making sure everything was, I would score bend and score a few at a time, and then I realized that was kind of labor intensive. So here's what I do instead. I just fold it in half like this. So you're going to have your sheets like this. You're going to take your bone folder. Mine's from Fiskars. I have a video on my favorite tools that work best for me, and the reason this one works best is because of this weird club shape at the end. It's not a silicone one. I do have a silicone one, but I don't think it does any better job, so I wouldn't invest in the money. Now, if your ends aren't straight at this point, where you look at them and you go, well, that's a little wonky at the end, I just take my regular paper cutters and I just trim up the end of it, just to make sure that it looks clean on the ends. So see how much better it looks now? Well, maybe you can't see that, but I can. And so then you're going to take this, and remember you used your bone folder on it. If you didn't, go over it again on both sides. I mean, really get that well done. If you have one of these kind of staplers, Staples makes these, and I'm going to show you how it works that's different from your run-of-the-mill stapler. What it does is it has kind of a ratchet in it. You know how a regular stapler, you either staple or you don't. Well, with these, I'm going to just put a whole bunch of papers together, little papers, just so you can see this really well. Okay. You see how I have, I don't know, 8 sheets of paper in there? When you use this stapler, and this is for me with one hand. See how easy that worked? I can do a lot of papers with this, but I could not go through all of this with that. But maybe you'll have somebody that could help you. That would be the stapler to get. It's made by Staples, and I really don't know any more than that, other than it kind of has a ratcheting motion to it. So I'm using this InfoGuard electric stapler that I got really inexpensively. I think got it at Walmart for under $10. So you're going to take your pad and you're going to put it with the fold side in the center down here. You see you're centering it on either side like that, and you're going to hold it in place, and then you're going to take your stapler and you're going to push it in until it staples. Then you're going to go closer to the right side, staple it there, and you're done. Now, the next problem I found that I had with this, and I don't remember if Little Hot Tamale addressed this or not, but I didn't like the staples sticking up in the back. I was afraid somebody would catch themselves on it. So the first thing I did is I took these little pliers and I squeezed them down. And this wasn't hard for me to do, so if I can do it, you can do it. I just wanted to make sure that they weren't sticking up. But then I did a secondary thing that I also don't think she did, and that was I'm covering this with some washi tape. So the first thing you want to do is you want to pick out your pattern, and I have a bunch of Halloween designs here. I really liked Trick or Treat Smell My Feet. I thought that one was really fun. The problem is you have to remember it has to fit in this spot. So what you do is you take your paper trimmer. Side to side is not a problem, but the height is a problem. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut a little off. Hold on, I want to make sure you can see it all. Get out of the way. I'm going to cut a little bit off. Let me cut the bottom first. I'm going to cut the bottom so it's right below Smell My Feet. I don't know if you can see that. I have a wire guide in here. These trimmers are nice for cutting like this because of that wire guide. And then I'm probably going to cut off some of the top of her legs because I need to make sure this is short enough to go in there. So let me cut off that much and we'll see where that ends up being. So I cut off enough of it, I think. Oh, before I forget, because, you know, I ramble on these things and I think to myself, did I say that or didn't I say that? I went out to Joann Fabric and they had in their standalone papers, they had a bunch of these kind of papers that are all Halloween, Christmas. They had some that were patriotic. I really like these. And then my favorites were these ones that were little, oh, here's a Thanksgiving one too. The ones that had the floral sentiment on it. I really liked, I had those all upside down, I apologize. But I really liked all those, and they were 10 for $2 at Joann Fabric. So if you're out there, that's where I found mine. And that's also where I found the Halloween ones. So all I did was I cut them apart. And then I'm going to take some of my tear tape. If I sound like a rambling lunatic, I'm on a little bit of steroids this week for my arthritis, and it makes me really chatty and friskier than usual. I know you find that hard to believe, but it is the truth. Why, tape runner? Why? Let's try this one, easy runner. We'll see if that's a lie. Doesn't look too hard so far. And then what I did was, because this is something that's going to be open and closed a lot, I'm taking this Simply Defined Stay Put glue that one of my friends sent me. think it was maybe Gracie and her mother, Barb, could be, maybe not, but I think it was. And I'm just going to put a little bit of that on there. So we are going to put it centered, but more toward the top than toward the bottom, like that. Then what I did, and this is a step you don't have to do if you don't have one of these tools, it's okay, but this is what I did. I took a brayer and I just took it and went over my pattern just to make sure it's really well sealed down. So now it looks more glued down and professional. When you do that, it just really kind of seals it. Then you want to check. You want to make sure that you can put your Matchbook or book together, close it, and that it's flat, and mine is. That's why I changed some of my measurements, because it didn't seem like it was fitting right. Looks like a little crooked at the top, but that's okay. Nobody will ever notice that. And then I did one more step that I thought made it look more complete, and that was washi tape. I don't know if I like this or not. We'll give it a shot, and if I don't like it, I don't think it's right orange. Hold on, let me find something black. This is a good technique to use up your washi tape. And you know, I love anything that I can use up washi tape on. And the other thing, about the washi tape is that it's covering those staples. I noticed when I did it that one coat of washi doesn't do it. So what I do is I cut the first, or I put the first row over it, and then I kind of line up with the pattern underneath, and I do a second one. It seems like it makes it look a lot better, and it covers those staples better. The last thing you want is for somebody to reach their hand in their purse and catch themselves on a staple. So I do that like that on that side, then I flip it over, and I just cover this side. Now, if you're making this for friends and family, and you just want to make them quick and dirty, you can certainly do it without the washi tape. It's not like it's a requirement. I just thought it was, I thought it made it look more finished, and I like the idea that it made it a little bit safer. It's easier if you cut from the back when you're doing this, like if you flip it like this. I've been doing a lot of them, so I haven't had to do this, but if you cut it like this, you have a much cleaner edge. My scissors have a lot of washi stuck to them. I have to clean them after I'm done today. And then I go back over, I turn it over, and I just check all my edges and make sure that if it needs trimmed off, I just do a little last minute trimming. And so that's all it takes to make these. So I think I have more done, but I don't know where I put them. So right now the only three that I can show you are these. It's a good way to use up different papers that you maybe don't like. I wasn't crazy about this green paper. I'll show it to you so you can see what I'm talking about if I can find it. I wasn't crazy about this green paper, which I used here. But once you put it underneath, no one really sees it, sees the pattern. On this side, I did like it, but it's harder to find the little matching paper to go over it. So that's my project. I hope that you enjoyed it and that you'll consider making some for yourself. And if you do, I'd love it if you'd share them with people on my Facebook page, Crafting for Almost Everyone. I'm hoping more people go there and check it out, because some really great projects are showing up there, and I'm so thrilled that you're taking advantage of it so that we can have a more interactive relationship. It's not just me putting things out, but you're showing me what you make in response, and in fact you're showing the rest of the viewers of this channel. So with that being said, I hope you enjoyed this and that you give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Please tell one friend about me on social media. I'd really appreciate it, and thanks so much for watching.